Hello there. Today just wanted to make a quick simple video to share with you some of the new gear ideas that we've come up with this year. So just a review on some of our new equipment. This is something I've had in previous videos. It's simply my torch. But what I've noticed, a problem with a lot of torches, particularly this one actually, the lead lens of P5, is it seems to stop working once the temperature's below 5 degrees. So I took 2 pieces of EVA foam. I had to put this together in the field on a recent trip in the snow. So that just goes over the torch, and then there's another piece for the top there. And I've noticed that since I started using this system, the batteries seem to last a lot longer. So I'll just put that back down there. Something I picked up recently from a small business in Queensland in Australia. It's a Kydex sheath for my machete. So Kydex is a plastic that's imported from America. Very strong, very durable, easily shaped. So the name of the company who made this is Blade Safe Sheaths in Queensland, Australia. So a couple of the new pieces of equipment that I've come up with for the purpose of saving weight. So up until now I've been using 4mm rope. That's 4 meters of 4mm rope, but I decided that if I drop down to 2 or 3mm rope, I can carry twice as much length. So that's about 6.5 meters, I think. So I'm carrying more thinner rope and much longer length. So not only am I reducing weight, but also I get to carry more rope. And I wouldn't go any thinner than 3mm because it just becomes too difficult to actually manage it. Another really nice piece of gear, and these can be hard to find actually. It's called a line cleat. I believe the trademark is Line Lock. So it's a very good quality line cleat for guy lines on a tent. So if you look up online, you can find these, and a lot of companies make line cleats, but they're nowhere near as good as that brand, from what I've seen anyway. So new roll of Gorilla Tape, because on the recent trip where I was doing this DIY work on my torch, I ran out of duct tape. So what else have we got here? Recently, we've started carrying a power bank. So that's how you can charge up your electrical devices while you're on the move. And I also decided that we're just carrying too many electrical cords. So these are the 4 cables that we use to charge our devices. And as you can see, we've got these tiny little miniature versions. That's an iPhone 5 charger, only 10 centimeters, weighs only 6 grams. Then you've got the old iPhone 30-pin charger for the old iPhone 3s and iPhone 4s. This is the charger for my GoPro. Again, it's only about 12 centimeters long. And would you believe it, that's actually the charger for my Sunto watch. So there's this miniaturized ultralight cable charger system. And just swing the camera over here. This is what the whole cable setup would look like if I hadn't have miniaturized it. And the most annoying of all is this massive cable for the Sunto watch. There's my watch. So by miniaturizing all my cables, I've actually managed to knock about 80 grams off the whole kit. So you can find these online actually, these just teensy weeny little cables for your iPhones and other phones, I hope. So what's here? So we mentioned this on a previous video. What we have here is five different woolen jumpers that we picked up at op shops in Australia. So op shop is short for opportunity shop. I believe in America you call them thrift stores. So you really can get some great quality woolen jumpers, lightweight, and that one there's merino wool. You can find them secondhand at thrift stores. And nowadays we carry a heap of woolen blankets, also from thrift stores. We carry them in the car. So after a couple of days of hiking in the mountains, we might be back to the car and it might be all cold and snowing and we're all wet. So we want to immediately wrap ourselves in woolen blankets. So we actually keep about 5 woolen blankets in the car, and each one we only paid probably $8 for each blanket. But believe it or not, some of these blankets, particularly that one at the back there, I think it's a queen size blanket, could cost about $250 or $300 if it was brand new in the store. So again, we just chuck them straight into the washing machine once we get home, and sometimes wash them twice before we use them. And this here, this is the chemical for washing wool. You can wash in a modern day washing machine, eucalyptus wool and delicates. So just a special chemical that you use for washing wool. Now recently I decided that I'm going to stop using my old Ekron Rock helmet. It's quite a bit heavy and it sits very high on the head. So I've now upgraded to this Italian made Grivel helmet that is about 100 grams lighter than a Ekron Rock, and it gives better side protection. So expect to see me wearing a new helmet now in all my videos. So yeah, just time to put the Ekron Rock in the cupboard actually. And what I'll have to do is just get a new GoPro helmet mount for the new Italian made climbing helmet. So what you're looking at here is part of my old cook set that is in other videos. Snow Peak cook set, that's one piece of it. So it's nothing new, but what we did find online, there's a guy in America called 4Dog Stoves, that's what he calls himself, 4Dog, and he actually makes titanium lids, aftermarket titanium lids for the Snow Peak range. That fits inside there, and that lid will go on top. Great little innovative items there, probably only $10 each I think he charges, plus a small amount for shipping. So a few ultralight food ideas that we've come up with this year. I have mentioned this before, they are sun-dried bananas, so you'll hear us talking about that in other videos actually. And even nicer actually, even sweeter, depending on your taste in fruit, they are muscatel dried grapes. So sun-dried grapes, I think they're a lot healthier than eating sultanas actually. They're more natural, more like a real grape, and they actually have seeds inside. Oh my god, they taste so nice. Also lately we've been carrying a bit of dried apple on trips. So there's just a few ultralight food ideas we've come up with recently. Let's just take the cook set apart for this next little demonstration. This is a new type of pasta that we've been buying. It's called Spelt. So it's not durum wheat, it's made of a whole different ingredient to regular pasta. I'll just tip it out so you can see it. Just see how small those pieces are. They're tiny, tiny little pieces. Seems to cook faster than durum wheat pasta, and apparently it's healthier. The only problem is it is quite expensive. It's about $20 a kilo for Spelt. So the best thing about tiny little pieces of pasta like that is with only a 900ml titanium cup, I can actually fit, let's have a look, that's almost half a kilo of Spelt pasta can fit into a 900ml titanium cup. So that's the best thing about small pieces of pasta, is it's extremely compact, so you can cook a lot of it in your small miniature camping cookware. So just recently I also had to buy a new saw. So this is my wood saw for cutting up wood. And just one thing that really annoys me that I'd like to mention about modern saws is these days saws are made of a hardened steel that apparently cannot be sharpened. So if your saw goes blunt, you have to go out and buy a new one, and it applies to all saws that I can see in the hardware stores, even the popular Barco Laplander used by bushwalkers across the world. You cannot sharpen a Barco Laplander. It's just made from a new hardened steel that cannot be sharpened. That really annoys the hell out of me. Let's just step back a bit and just see that we've covered everything. Oh, and by the way, during the video, everything is also laid out on another woolen blanket. So this is another of the woolen blankets that we carry on our trips in the car. So we don't backpack with heavy woolen blankets, we just keep them in the car as emergency. So I like to think that even if the temperature dropped to -20 and we were stranded in the bush in the car, we could simply jump underneath all our blankets, 5 or 6 different woolen blankets to keep ourselves warm while we come up with plan B.